American professional comedy writer and magician named Robert Urban quoted that there's so much pollution in the air now that if it weren't for our lungs, there'd be no place to put it all. In an article named Urban Evolution, How Species Adapt to Survive in Cities, written by Eric Bender, who graduated at Georgetown University and Oxford University, he quoted that many environmental factors are similar across thousands of cities, says Johnson. Things like higher temperatures, pollution, and habitats fragmented by buildings and roads. But cities also differ in age, amount of green space, climate, and more. Which leads me to my question: to which extent have the environmental laws and policies affected humans in the last 30 years? Hello, my name is Javier Kokar. My first claim is on behavioral changes. Reducing waste. The graph shown here represents the accomplishments of the research and operating staff at the Berkeley lab to reduce the amount of hazardous waste as a result of their activities. As we can see on the graph, if we look at 1993, there's a 0% rate reduction of waste. And if we look all the way down here to 2012, there's about a 85% reduction of waste. Conserving energy. This graph here shows the breakdown of how energy is used in an average household. Things like heating, cooling, water heating, etc. And with little reduction of each energy source, we can save a lot of money and energy, which can lead to having more energy for other things. Which leads me to my second claim on technological advancements. Solar panels. Solar panels were invented to save money and a lot of energy, as we can see by the graph shown here. The one on the left shows the cost reduction from 2008 at like 7.8 watts, it's all the way down, going down to like 2 watts at 2018. We can see the reduction, and as we can see on the graph on the right, we can see the increase of watt usage increased almost by 750,000 over the span of 16 years. Wind turbines. Wind turbines were also an invention invented to save energy, as were the solar panels. They save and produce more energy than solar panels. Although solar panels are cheaper than wind turbines are more expensive, as we can see on the graph right there. In 1990, it was about like 250 for Denmark, and each country like just increased dramatically throughout like 16 years. And as we can see on this graph, the bigger the turbine is, the more watt per second it will produce. It's more than solar panels, and which makes it more valuable. Waste management. This graph published by Ian Tessio, he said that the generation of municipal solid waste in the United States has increased significantly over the past 60 years. My third claim, influence of environmental laws and policies. Advocacy groups was a very good idea to like spread the word of these policies and laws. They were created to stop, reduce, or better manage environmental destructive issues such as developments on natural habitats and the release of harmful chemicals. We can see on this graph, it starts at 1883, but I'm not gonna look over there. I'm just looking at like 1991 to 1915. We can see the increase of all of these chemical wastes, just very high in the charts. On this graph, we can see if the advocacy groups were successful or unsuccessful, and in which charts they were successful in. As we can see, the politicians and governments had the highest success rate of like of advocacy groups, and followed by businesses having the second most, which leads me to my solutions and limitations. My first solution is education and awareness. Increasing education and awareness about environmental policies and their impacts can empower individuals and communities to better understand and adapt to these laws, which also has a limitation, which includes the potential for misinformation, lack of access to educational resources in certain communities. My second solution, technology and innovations. Advancements in technology and innovations can offer solutions to mitigate the negative impacts of environmental policies. This also has limitations that include the high costs associated with implementing new technologies, the need for infrastructure upgrades, and potential unintended consequences or environmental impacts of new technologies. And my third solution, stakeholders, engagement, and collaboration. Involving stakeholders, including government agencies, businesses, communities, and individuals in the decision-making process related to environmental policies can lead to more efficient and sustainable solutions. This also has a limitation which includes potential conflicts of interest among stakeholders, power imbalance, and challenges in achieving consensus and a cooperation among diverse stakeholders. And this is my works cited page. Thank you.
All right, 2 questions for you. First up, what information did you need before you began your research, and how did that information help shape your research?
Before I started doing my slides and my research, I just really looked into what the biggest laws and policies that really affected the humans, the gases, like greenhouse gases, or how if solar panels or wind turbines weren't here, invented, how it would affect the energy usage.
Okay. And if you had more time, what additional research would you conduct?
If I had more time, I would just like to add on to each of my claims, like technology. I know there's a lot more technology that was created to save energy and save a lot of money for people to have better living environments, and just more ways to look into more ways about how climate or how these gases can be reduced